Today is April 9th, 2019, and I am starting a video series here at a conservation park in Gaithersburg, Maryland, where I'm going to show the life of a hive for one entire year. I'm going to start by lighting up my smoker. So, here we go. The smoker is probably one of your most important tools, next to keeping your voice down, moving slowly, and just not causing them any harm. I like corrugated cardboard. The channels in it allow the heat to go right up through it. Also have some jute and some old jeans. Beekeeper friend of mine advised me that jeans are really good, and since then I've been using them quite a bit. This is about the time you're ready to get rid of them. They've been washed so much, there are no toxins, and it's pretty much just good cotton, organic cotton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this hive frame by frame. Yesterday we found the queen, so hopefully we can find her today. And then when we're done, I'm going to add the box that was sitting next to it on top of it. And I'm also going to add a sugar feeder. You want to be able to build up that hive quick enough so that it's full strength in the spring and the summer, and can survive winter or be full size enough to make a full load of honey. So something you're going to see on the top frame when I open it is a pollen patty, and that pollen patty was put on yesterday. This is the inner, a bee got up under my t-shirt. This is the inner cover. Good, healthy looking bees. I'll put this right here. Something else I'm going to need to do. I've gotten used to wearing a watch since last year, and bees do not like leather. They don't like dark colors. So this watch is a big no-no. Yesterday I got stung on my wrist. Whoop, sorry. Alright girls, I'm going to make this quick. Usually getting that first frame out is the trickiest. So let's see what we can do here. Now, the best technique that you need to have, or the most important technique, is not causing the bees any harm. I've gotten into a hive with a little bit of smoke, no veil, but I don't crush them and I don't get stung. So as long as you're not causing them harm, you should be doing okay. This frame is all the way at the end, and there's nothing going on this frame. So I'm going to set this frame right over here off to the side, right there. I do need to get a frame rest. In this frame was also added a few days ago. Not a whole lot going on this frame. Actually, the other side didn't have a whole lot going on. This side has, I think you can see the pollen. It's a little, and then the nectar next to it. So they're starting to do something. And I think I added this frame just a couple days ago to fill it out. I'm gonna give them just a touch more smoke. Whoop. Here we go, girls. When you're pulling the frame up, you want to pull it straight up and out of the hive. You want to make sure you don't slide it to the left or the right, where you might crush a bee along the end bar. The first side of the frame didn't really have a whole lot going on, so I bypassed it pretty quickly. This frame has honey in the center, and it's capped honey, and then along the outsides you're starting to see some of the same stuff we saw in the other frame, and that's just pollen and nectar. They don't always convert the nectar into honey. Sometimes they just consume it. Depends on what's going on. Depends on their daily needs. Alright, I'm going to put the frame in, and then I'm going to attempt to show you. Hopefully it goes well. If you look right down in there, you can see the end bars and how they come together. So if you can see, I can't, so I'm just going to guess that there aren't any bees there. When I put these together, I always make sure that I'm not crushing any bees. There's one hanging out there. Got it. And the other areas that I'm a little concerned about are usually the bridge comb. The bridge comb is right here. It's the comb that goes between the frames. That's a handy guide if you forget which way the frame went in. So I would brag right now that I probably haven't crushed a single bee yet, and I hope not to. Now this frame, I can tell you, is quite a bit heavier than any of my other any of the previous frames. And do you see her? That's the queen. I made up this queen from one of my strongest, most docile hives. Oh, now she's laying an egg. Nailed it. She's checking this frame, checking that cell. Yep, looks clean. Oh, guess not. Get back to work. Alright, so since we've seen the queen, and we actually saw her laying an egg, which is kind of unique, it's a good sign we're not stressing her out too much. We're probably going to call this pretty close to being done. And I say that more because I don't really want to cause the queen any harm. Or cause the hive any more grief. Whoop. And it slipped, and as you can see right there, I've crushed a bee, and they're all going over to see her. She emits a pheromone that says, "Oh, somebody got me. Kill him. We knew he was no good." I want to know who voted for him. There we go. So I'm going to push all these back together. And there we go. So pretty much the rest of the frames are going to show very similar There we go. There we go. If I recall correctly, I think this frame over here had some brood on it. So this would be a nice educational frame. Again, the hardest part's getting that first frame out, and I went ahead and tried to get two of the first frames out from one side to the other. Alright, this is a great frame. This will be very educational, and we'll just be able to break it down for everybody. So, here we go. I'm going to twist around here so the light's behind me. What you can see in the upper left hand side of the frame is not honey. It looks very similar to honey, but it's actually capped brood. And that capped brood, I can tell, is worker brood. Brood is the new generation of honeybees that are about to hatch out. Generally they take around 20 days to hatch, and they live around 40 days, give or take. The queen, surprisingly enough, only takes 16 days to develop from an egg, but she can live up to 5 years. So what you're seeing in the middle is pollen. They like to store it close to the brood, so it's easy to feed them. And then right here in the center of the frame, you're seeing larvae. Some of the larger larvae is clearly older, and the smaller stuff's obviously younger. I don't see any eggs though. An egg is an egg for the first 4 days, and then it hatches into a larva, and then it gets capped, and I know I'm going to say it wrong, I believe around day 9 for a worker bee. It's probably a little later because I'm thinking queens are 9. But I'm trying to just give everybody a quick overview here. I'm going to edit this out with the correct information later. This frame is really nice. As you can see around the outside of it, it's just chocked full of pollen. And the center part is all capped brood. So they say that deep frame, and this is a deep frame. Frames come in a number of sizes. This is the largest size frame, and it's 9 inches. They say that a deep frame like this has over 8,000 cells. So that's pretty impressive. So if this were full of brood or capped brood, you would know that your hive population would expand by 8,000 bees. And it's always nice to kind of keep track of your hive and its population. Right here, that fellow right there, is a drone. Drones are the only men in the hive. He snuck over here while I was looking at that plane. So a drone is right here. There's a drone. Drone are the only male bees in a hive. They don't do any of the hive chores. They don't have a stinger. And their only job is to mate with a virgin queen. And when they do, their stinger, so to speak, is ripped from their body and they die. So this little forager right here, she's been out working all day. Probably not all day, it's pretty early here but she's looking for a place to put her pollen. Those weird saddlebags that she has are actually pollen granules. She packs them on her legs and then stores them in the cells. So I'm going to put this whole hive back together. Really the only thing you missed yesterday was me transferring every single frame from a box into that hive, and it was pretty hefty. She was definitely getting very cramped. So I think this is a great beginning. It shows a hive, shows all the little pieces of a hive, and then hopefully you stay tuned. I'm going to try to do one every time I inspect this hive, and then we'll get all the way through to winter, and then we'll see if she hatches or she makes it out in the spring. But I'm pretty sure she's going to have a couple kids. She's a little too big not to. Again, I was extremely careful not to cause the bees any harm, not to crush any of the bees, mainly because if you don't harm them, they don't harm you. can come right along here and you can touch them. Honeybees are unique in that they have a very distinct division of labor. So not all honeybees are guard bees or attack bees. Most of them are foragers, nurse bees. So I'll show you this. Honeybees are very docile. There we go. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've looked at this hive and I can tell you that it's probably time to expand it. So what I did yesterday was I got out some of my old frames, and this is a wooden frame and it has a plastic honeycomb insert, and the reason it has this honeycomb insert is it allows the honeybees to, it gives them a guide, meaning honeybees don't always want to build honeycomb in a straight line. So it gives them a guide so that you can actually remove all 10 frames. If I were to put all 10 frames into a hive without any wax foundation or plastic foundation, I've seen where they've run perpendicular to the frames so that you can't get any of the frames out. That's got to be annoying. But so this actually helps them and helps us to inspect it. I did give it a healthy coating of wax. Beeswax with a crayon that you make up, a beeswax crayon. So I am going to put these frames, I have 10 of them sitting right here. I'm going to put them on top of this box. And right now you just have to trust me. You have to feed the bees sugar, especially this time of year. You feed them a specific type of sugar water. And if you notice, I don't have my honey supers on this hive yet. It's just the hive bodies. So I'll stop feeding them sugar when I put the honey supers on so that I know they're not getting any sugar water into the honey. This time of year, it's early April, so if it rains or it's cold for a couple days, they won't have any pollen. And if it's raining, I can't come over here and put one on. That's one of the things you don't do. You don't inspect a hive in the rain. It's a great way of getting stung. So just a few tricks to doing it, and just a few tricks to keeping a healthy, strong hive. So we put the pollen patty on that helps them build the brood. Also with the sugar water, it's going to help give them some nectar in case they need it. So this one is a brush them off on top of this, and then I'm going to put the lid on top of that. So it shouldn't be any issues. All right. Hopefully you all come back and watch the rest of the videos. But again, my plan is to